So we've now done 2 episodes on a couple of passages from Seneca's second epistle on discursiveness in reading. And this will be the third episode talking about a different quote, and there will be a fourth, and then I think I'll be done with it. But, this is such a short letter, but there's so much good to be taken away from it. There's so much wisdom within. And so, I find that it's really helpful for me to really focus in on, particular passages of certain letters. Now, in the future, I will probably do whole episodes where I discuss entire letters and the theme that runs throughout that letter. But I guess what I'm doing so far as I go through these writings is really just picking out the parts that stand out to me and really make me think about how I could make some positive changes in my life, because that ultimately is what philosophy is supposed to be for. It's supposed to stir our souls, to make positive, meaningful changes so that we can experience the world around us in a different way and experience our lives in a different way. And the quote that I'm reading you from Seneca today is no different. It really made me think, what a great way to show up in my study each day, because that's what he's talking about in this passage. Anyway, I'll read the quote to you and then we'll continue. He says, quote, "Each day acquire something that will fortify you against poverty, against death, indeed against other misfortunes as well. And after you have run over many thoughts, select one to be thoroughly digested that day. This is my own custom. From the many things which I have read, I claim some one part for myself." End quote. Now, one of the reasons why I really love this passage, and particularly the habit that Seneca is talking about in this passage, is because what it does is it encourages deeper thinking, deeper introspection. It encourages deeper learning and understanding. Because all too often, I'm sure you've done this, and I have done this all throughout my life. You say you read a book and, you kind of just go through, maybe you highlight a few of the passages, you really enjoy all the lessons that you're learning and everything, but then you just kind of close the book. And what you've essentially done is you've skimmed over a whole bunch of ideas. You've never spent really, enough time with any one of those ideas that you learnt in that book to let it seep into your soul, to let it seep into your mind, and to allow you to actually, embody that wisdom. And of course, to embody that wisdom, you would have to enact those lessons in your life so that you actually learn it in the physical world. However, there's something to be said for simply, as Seneca suggested, picking an idea that you've read that day and really trying to think about how it applies to you, how it applies to your life, how it applies to the people around you. Pick an idea and just see what you can do with that idea if you're willing to sit with it for a while. And there's a few suggestions that I want to give you, because I've kind of incorporated this into my own routine, which I find really, really meaningful and really useful for my life as well. And I also want to give you a principle that I was given by Sharon LaBelle. So I'll start with Sharon's suggestion. And it came when I was interviewing her in early 2020. So you can actually get that episode on the Practical Stoic podcast. But basically, she was talking about an idea that she learned from Edward de Bono, who's a wonderful author. And the idea is called Po. Now, Po simply means to sit with an idea, to be with an idea. It's not yes, it's not no, it's just Po. And this idea really transformed my mind in a really profound way. Whenever I was doing some study or trying to be introspective and learning about a certain idea, it really made me pause and think, okay, I don't have to agree or not agree with this idea. What I simply have to do is sit with it and allow it to seep into my mind and see where it takes me. Let's go on a journey here, as opposed to, trying to figure something out in a kind of yes-no binary kind of way. let's try and see where this idea, where this principle, where this thought, where this concept takes me. And that has been so unbelievably helpful for me this year. And even with making decisions, if you've got a tough decision, just say Poe. Not yes, not no. I'm going to sit with this decision for a while and see where the possibilities take me, and then I'll make up my mind. That was just such a profound change in my life when she taught me that idea, and I've kept it with me. And I've also incorporated it into one of my regular routines or rituals, which I want to share with you now as well, because it does have a lot to do with this idea that comes from Seneca of kind of picking this idea, picking this thought or principle, and really mulling over it in your mind. So basically, every few days, I will find some time to sit down at my desk, have a clean room, and sit there at my desk with a pen and paper or a pen and journal, usually a pencil, and to be able to just sit there and think about a certain question, a certain idea, a certain concept, a certain theory. But here's the catch. It's not going to be something that I have planned to think about. What I'll often do is I'll sit down and I'll put some beautiful music on, whether it's some classical music or some jazz, whatever I'm feeling like, really. This whole ritual is based around what I'm feeling and where my mind wants to take me. So I'll pick some music that I want to listen to, and I'll start listening, and I'll just allow my mind to catch thoughts as they come, and to see which one really sticks enough for me to start writing about it. And more than once, I have found that I start to figure out answers to problems that I've never even thought about before. Answers to questions that I've never even considered to ask. And that's such a valuable exercise for me, ritual for me, to be able to allow my mind to flow where it wants to flow, to go where it wants to go, and to think what it wants to think, and then to just go along on that ride and write down what I see. And the value of Poe is that when a thought or an idea or a concept appears to me, I'm not so quick to jump in and judge it. What I do is I sit with that idea. I play with that idea. I think there's a wonderful quote from Oscar Wilde where he says that we should play gracefully with ideas. That's the universal manner that he talks about. And that's what I try to do in those moments when I'm sitting there and writing. And another really helpful suggestion for all of you is try to do it not on your computer, but writing with a pencil and paper or a journal. And the reason why I think that is important is because I have found it really useful to incorporate more and more things into this kind of ritual that allow me to pause and actually think before I do something, that slow down the process. And that's exactly what writing with, pen and paper or pencil and paper actually does. It forces me to consider the thoughts that I'm having before they go down on the paper. And so overall, what this ritual does for me is it allows me the time and space necessary to think freely and to follow thoughts to their completion. And that's essentially what Seneca is suggesting in this passage as well. Find that one idea, that one thought, that one concept that you really want to lay hold of and really want to understand, and really think about it. Allow it to seep into your mind. And so whether you use this as a study technique where, you've learned a whole bunch of ideas, but you really want to focus in on one, or whether you try maybe I think it's a more kind of creative approach to allowing your thoughts to manifest themselves, of, listening to what it is that you're thinking next and then following the ideas that appear to you. Whether you do either one of those kind of daily or weekly rituals, I know that it'll be helpful for you, because what it's encouraging within you is deeper thinking, deeper introspection, more meaningful learning, and an embodiment of that wisdom in your soul and hopefully as well in your life. So that's the value that I've found in that passage from Seneca, that quote. And just remember that these episodes are only as good as they are useful to you in your life. So that means take this wisdom away and try it. Give it a go and see how it works for you in your own life. And as I mentioned at the start of the episode, the next episode is going to be still diving into a passage from letter number 2 on discursiveness in reading. After that, we should be right to move straight on to letter number 3 on true and false friendship. And there's a lot of good stuff to take away from that one as well. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'll talk to you next time. Hey there, YouTubers. I just wanted to let you know that if you love this episode and you'd like many more just like it, then you can head to patreon.com/Simon J.E. Drew. There you'll get access to exclusive episodes that haven't been released yet, as well as many other benefits. Also, if you'd like to work one-on-one with me in my coaching practice, then you can head to simonjedrew.com/coaching. Talk to you soon.